I just don't want to be bitter and arrive there before I gave myself the chance to at least fail at what I dreamt for myself. Hi. It's been a while. I thought that after my last episode, it was only going to be a couple weeks, and then I was going to post my next one. Well, I guess time flies when you're being an adult. I could have sworn it was a couple weeks that passed, but apparently it's been over a month. My bad. I guess that's fitting, actually, for what I want to talk about today. This year has been the first year in my whole life that I've finally begun to taste financial comfort. Having a good, stable job with good perks, a not so bad day-to-day routine, and on paper, everything is great. A higher up position, great team, all the cliche things. But even with all this, I haven't been able to shake this underbelly, if you will, of fire and aggression. This fleeting yet indescribable state where I can still feel somewhere inside this urge for freedom, exploration, this urge for creation and discovery. It makes me wonder to myself, it makes me ask myself a question of, are you the one that unapologetically goes after life, or are you the one of many that slowly becomes domesticated? There are less and less people as we get older that have this vision and grit and courage to do things that need doing in order to have an outcome, in order to have a life that is of their own and not predicated on certain standards or within certain parameters. I have had the chance to taste this rather comfortable and predictable life. I've gotten a glance of what's in store. It's been nice. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. Finally getting a taste of this. But what makes it so nice is more so knowing that I got myself here. That is what makes this all the better. And in theory, since I got here, it is only more or less up. Obviously, life doesn't progress in a linear path, but you get the idea. But even with everything that I'm saying, I still can't shake this nagging feeling of there is something else. There is something more in me that has yet to be fully realized. And I really, really don't want to waste my potential. That potential is what helps create the possibilities. There are very few people that I have followed over a long period of time. It's about a handful of people that I do follow and that I have been following for the past few years. I continue to keep an eye on them because in them and through their work and through their words, I see things in me. And I don't think what I'm saying comes off narcissistic here. These guys all have their own unique traits and visions, but somehow they aren't exactly all that different at the same time. I look at them as reminders to not let off my vision, no matter how long it takes. And more particularly, they serve as this visual reminder for myself of this Latin quote that I can't stop thinking about. I don't know why. I don't know when it happened. But there's this quote that has been kind of ringing in my ears for a while now. That quote translated to English is, "Fortune favors the bold." And these guys certainly have that in common. They're bold. And I don't mean necessarily brave, but they're stubborn, they're steadfast, yet insightful about the things they're doing, the things that they've completed and the direction they're headed. regardless of outside opinions and standards and the failures that have happened along the way. All this, I've been thinking about it continually for years, but it kind of came back the last few weeks, and it's just been swirling around my head. And I know I'm not the only person in the world that has ever felt this. I'm not the only person that is currently feeling this, and I'm definitely not going to be the last person to even mention this. But this is the big part. I do want to be one of the few that actually manage to see this through. To be someone that actually makes it to the other side of dreams and accomplishing visions. That is a much, much harder task, which is why so few people have accomplished it, which is why so few people even dare attempt it. I have been way too indulgent these past few months. I've spent more than I usually do, which already in of itself is a privilege. I have settled into comfort and routine, and therefore I haven't been as narrow-sighted on these bigger goals that I've had for myself in the past few years, and I haven't been dedicating the time and the energy that they require from me. Fuck, it's surprisingly scary how easy it is to kind of just slip into this. The everyday comfort. The everyday going through the motions when it's not that bad. Even with all this, I still find myself right back where I started. Where I continually, I guess where I've always been in some way, which is pushing forward again for that something more. That bigger thing. That more meaningful life. That more intentional existence. Maybe that's what it all comes down to. Remaining intentional in my actions. Not letting it slip so often for so long to the point where I forget why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I have some ideas for myself. Some, I would dare even say, big ideas for myself. And a lot of them, pretty much all of them are fucking scary. But that's the point. Building something as special as your life isn't meant to be easy or passive. This is what difficult looks like. In the face of difficulty and fear, don't shy away from it. Triumph breeds prosperity. The only other thing I can kind of think of right now before I end this episode, even with everything I'm saying, once this is all said and done, I'll still be searching and craving for something real. Once I accomplish what I want and see my hopes come to life, there is still more life after. I'll still long after compassion, commitment, and connection. Once it's all said and done, it's hard to say whether or not this addiction of always needing forward momentum will still get in the way of more life. The big goals, the dreamy visions, the lust for proof of success, being the wide-eyed, naive people we have all been at some point, all that eventually fades. And at our core, we all crave closeness and love and bonding and feeling relevant to someone. I just don't want to be bitter and arrive there before I gave myself the chance to at least fail at what I dreamt for myself. There are many things that you give up with time, especially the things you've never accomplished. Is this one of them?